Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. And I'm here with Mr. Wonderful Wolf, and it's just general share advice and not personal advice. And Wolf, just in case you wondered, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's
I'm wondering.
Right, you hang on. Let me move out of the way. Where is that?
Funnily enough, as soon as I saw it, just the first pick when you went online, I just went, "This has to be Wolverhampton. This is going to be your hometown, surely."
Well, you know,
am I right?
you know what? Look how beautiful it is. And sometimes I just wonder really why I moved to Sydney. And there's this little article here, Wolf, talking about crumbling Wolverhampton city centre shops should be torn down and rebuilt as part of wider plans to regenerate. How ridiculous! I'm sure that'd be a heritage.
What, crumbling heritage?
Yeah, I mean, God, terrible.
Maybe
but,
what you could do though is change the weather at the very least. That's pretty depressing there.
But anyway, you can see why often people say to me, "What's Wolverhampton like?" And I say it makes Dubbo look like Saint-Tropez.
Yes. Well, look, for people from Dubbo, don't listen to Dave. Dubbo is like Saint-Tropez.
Anyway, I'm going to bring Marilyn Monroe back. I can't look at Wolverhampton. Sorry, Wolverhampton. I love your football team, but I can't look at your shops anymore. Oh, okay, Wolf.
Yes.
I feel much happier having Marilyn behind me.
Oh, yes.
All right, let's talk about SLA.
Okay.
Right, what? So, you know, I said to you the other day, it was a good story, and you went, yeah, it is a good story, but the market didn't like it. But I'll tell you what, Wesfarmers liked it, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, something was going on behind the scenes because it was strange.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I couldn't understand when we talked 2 days ago about it. I'm thinking, why is that going up?
Why is that jumps over the water level?
That's right. Exactly. Well, there you go. Someone was spilling the beans behind the scenes. So it's Wesfarmers subsidiary API, which is the pharma subsidiary, is want to buy Silk Laser. I still trying to understand reasoning behind it, to be honest. There must be some sort of synergies between the pharmaceutical business or the pharmacist business and this, but I still can't work it out. But anyway, I'm sure Wesfarmers and the team have got an idea. But you know how diverse buys they are doing. They introduced pets accessories and stuff in Bunnings. Maybe the next thing you're going to do when you go to Bunnings, Dave, maybe you're going to go and get your facial done at the same time.
All right, let's have a look at Iluka. But anyway, good news for people who've got the stock.
I don't think there's anything. You know, the market's generally probably a little bit of profit taking, but yeah, nothing in Iluka's thing to get frightened about. It's just still a hold.
So still a hold, decent report. ALK.
Yeah.
Wolf, what's going on? I mean, what, 7 million ounces? Is that correct?
It was. I tell you, hang on. Let's actually bring it up because I want to show everyone, right, about this Kaiser Boda project, which is obvious. You know, it's going to be huge in terms of Australia. It's going to be massive. So someone's going to be interested for sure. But just bring up that announcement today from Alkane, and I'll. If you just go, and so obviously the gold stuff wasn't anything, right? For me, it wasn't anything exciting or anything crazy. It was pretty much a reiteration of what they had previously. Just go down to what they're talking about Boda. So there we go, right? There we go. Go back up. There we go. Kaiser resource is located 500 northwest of Boda. So the two resources together, the Boda and Kaiser, equals to 894 million tons at 0.52 grams per ton gold equivalent for 14.8 million ounces, which equates to 7.2 million ounces of gold and 1.3 million tons of copper. Now, Dave, remember my metrics, right? The back of the envelope, the rule of thumb is anything over 1 million tons in copper, the big boys are interested, right? You've got 1.38, so that's already one. Anything over probably 5 million ounces, and all the big gold players are interested. 7.26 million ounces. You can see why this is starting to make for me, waves that someone surely is going to be looking at this, whether it be from the copper side or from maybe the gold side. I don't know, but I think it's probably more going to be the gold side.
Right. Okay. And
but you know, it might sit on the books for Alkane for a long time, because they still probably need to do more work. You know, it's not going to be easy to attract someone, because you got to have to find someone with deep pockets.
And I suppose Newcrest with their mine nearby are the obvious people, aren't they?
Yeah, but now they're going to be taken over by Newmont, right? So
yeah.
there's going to be a bit of a problem now. We've got to wait for Newmont to have a look at it.
Yeah, you've got a new boss to have a look at it, but it could be a positive though, Wolf,
Yeah,
because
I mean,
you know, Newcrest haven't moved yet. Maybe Newmont, that are obviously interested in acquisitions, I would look at it. Okay.
Anyway, it's very interesting on the books. It's something that it's almost like a crown jewel, but you know, it will take time.
Wolfie, AMI. Why did you want to talk about this one? Because it's not looking that good. It's below the.
I know there's a couple of people that have probably got it, and I just wanted to quickly mention that there was improvement this quarter. From previous quarter was terrible, so there's improvement. So there's definitely still light in the tunnel if you are holding this, but I'd probably still be taking my money out when it gets to that 17.5 cents where that blue light is.
Okay, evolution. So hot stock. I just gold's been. I'll tell you what, Wolf. I was doing the sort of little CTM last night till late, and gold actually was dipping up and down below 2000, above 2000. I think at the moment it's just still above 2000. It's a little bit touch and go at the moment, isn't it? That gold price, whether it's going to hold.
Yeah, well, it's just flirting around that $2,000, isn't it? At the moment?
Yeah, but as long as it's around 2000, it's still a hold. And you thought the announcement was reasonably good.
Yeah, it was actually reasonably good. It actually gives me hope that if the gold price keeps holding at 2000 and goes higher, Evolution's well placed. And the reason why I say that, Dave, first of all, you know, we talked about that it is probably the one that needs to do a bit of catch up, but this is actually now, if Newcrest gets taken out, this is going to be the lowest cost producer in Australia. So they've got a lot of margins to play with. So for me, this is the one I'd be probably interested in. If they look at the sector leading low all-in sustaining costs, so ASC of 1291 Australian dollars, Dave, that is pretty good. So that gives a margin of what, almost $1,500, if that's true. Right?
It's extraordinary.
Exactly, that's extraordinary. You don't see that very often, and I'm pretty sure that Northern Star is higher than this, and any other miner out there would be higher than this. So this is the lowest, like they said, lowest producing gold player in Australia.
All right, let's have a look at BXB, because we put this on as a trend. We had that nice big move up. It's been pretty tentative, you know what, Wolf, but it's hit that 14 and maybe looks like it could go higher.
Dave, never argue with the master, BXB, right? What did I say when it first came up with that first upgrade? I said it's going to go now to 14, probably 15.
Yeah,
15.
Re-rate to a higher share price.
Exactly, and that's exactly what it's been doing. And now there's a validation of that. And remember when I said if there's one upgrade, there'll probably be more to come. There you go. There's a second one right there for you. It's re-rated exactly how we thought it's going to re-rate, and now it's probably going to find that range between 40 and 15. So that was the upgrade. Was now talking about almost 20% growth, which, you know, for a company like BXB, which used to just have growth of about 5 to 10%, that is excellent. So they're in a sweet spot right now.
All right. Can I ask you a question though?
Go on.
There's more to BXB than just pallets, correct?
Yes, it is a pallet centric business, but obviously, it's more like a logistics business, right, than anything else.
That's what I'm saying. Does it worry you that if the world goes in recession and slow down, maybe 14, 15 is as good as it gets? Yeah,
like I'm saying, I think so, but
I just want you. I just like I just like to know, because I know, I don't think you're in this, Wolf, but
No, I'm not.
so if someone was in it, around that 14.5 and they bought it, would you be taking a profit, do you think?
Yeah, look, if you're trading, yes. But you know what? Sometimes you have to go with the cold hard facts and the figures. So whatever you might think, you have to put that aside and actually look at the actual facts. And the facts are, they are accelerating, right, with growth. And you think to yourself, that doesn't make any sense. But that's what the facts are. So you have to go, maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe the underlying still freighting between regions and so on still pretty strong, which it could be, especially when there's a war going around. So, you have to find other ways of moving things around logistically, whatever. So for me, maybe there's, why we might have a recession. And, obviously there is a come down of that because there's a high interest rate, yet these guys are going up and coming up with better and better numbers. So you have to ask yourself, I must be missing something, and you probably are. And that's why I'm going with the facts and figures. I'll still probably be on the side of caution and say maybe next quarter they're going to start slowing down. But for the moment, you'd go, I'm still holding. But if you're a trader, then maybe look at take a profit somewhere around here.
Or certainly a tight stop just under under 14. Yeah, about say 13.90, Wolf.
Yeah.
Okay. Rio. So what's the story?
Just a basic update. And the interesting bit was that the iron ore business has delivered, I think, the record numbers since probably about 5-6 years, Dave. So you can see China still, loving that iron ore from Australia. If you're in this story, I'd still be holding like a BHP. I mean, BHP looks, I think, even better on the charts, Dave.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, we can have a look at
but you know what? Those stories, there's no reason for me, especially when you look at. Okay, well, probably look a little bit better, but anyway, it's still good. If you look at say iron ore, if you look at the copper, which is the next best thing, they're still looking very strong as commodities. So you'd probably be holding on there.
Yeah, and iron ore, Wolf, again, still above that 120 level.
Yeah, and you're probably still going to get a very good dividend out of this year as well, out of both of these players.
Wolf, AK, you're seeing a weakening lithium price. They're below the water level, so for us it's a sell, get out of it, but they're still holding up reasonably well. Do you think just taking time to come down, it's going to come down lower?
Yeah, I think so. I think the FOMOs have, they're still thinking that the moon. So they're still not quite sold. I think this is going going through a re-rate, right, downwards, because of the lithium prices going back, from 400,000 to 182 at the moment. So for me, it's a gradual come down, because it may sometimes takes a bit of time before the farmers realize that they're wrong. So yeah, there's a re-rate going on unless something extraordinary happens and lithium price jumps back up again. I'd expect this back to $10 over the next few months.
STO, disappointing again, Wolf. Yeah, this is a stock that most of the sort of major brokers have got much higher valuations, $9-10.
Yep.
But it doesn't do it, does it? It really is a poor performer on the charts.
That's why some of the major brokers and some of the activist investors are saying time for the management to get shipped out pretty much, because they haven't really done much over the last 3 years. And look, you can probably agree with that statement, because they haven't done much when they should be doing much better, probably, because everyone's got a price target of around 10 because they think there's a lot of value locked up into Santos. Anyway, we're not in it at the moment. We prefer Woodside as our dividend story. So yeah, let's just see what happens there.
STV. So still not trending, but a good move up today. Wolfie up 6%. What are we waiting for with STV? What's the
catalyst? Look, it's a good question. There's probably two things I'm thinking here, Dave. I think it just needs to come over the radar of some bigger investors out there, because again, they delivered first of all, a pretty interesting quarterly, right? Which again, I think they're probably on track for about 80 million plus in revenues. And they also probably need to demonstrate they can be profitable. That's the two things I'm probably looking at here. But another little contract with a big boy, and that is clean away. So for me, with time, I think they'll start heading up. So for me, if I'm going to get into this, I have to be 100% confident. I probably want to see it over 43 cents.
AQZ, disappointing news for them, Wolf.
Sell. I mean, look, this is it was in the crosshairs of Qantas. Qantas at about 19.9%. They wanted to take it over. It's been going through the ACCC for some time. Today, ACCC said no, sorry, we're not happy with this acquisition by Qantas. Qantas has come back saying, well, come on, explain why. We want to hear reasons why you think this is going to be detrimental to the competition in this space. This is an ongoing thing, but if ACCC says no, I can't see them winning them over, to be honest.
All right. But it's below trend, and it's killed the momentum of the story off
Completely.
G1A.
Yep. Okay,
Bang.
so this is a one of those good little reminders, right? How volatile and risky this space is. Even though they've just started a mine, which you think you're going to go commercial, which is the next step, which probably gets a re-rate upwards, things can happen out of their control. Maybe that's, it sees an opposite effect. In other words, they've blamed the weather, right? Which obviously we had a bit of rain and flooding and some teething issues at the production side of things. And you can see what can happen. Now, when I see that teething issues, I'm straight away thinking incompetence. Unfortunately, right? Because that means that they didn't do the homework properly. So that in desperation, that's what these companies do. They have to go to the market quickly, because otherwise it could mean pretty much administration. And they have to raise at a very steep discount, like these guys have at 15 cents, Dave. That's a 38% discount to the last share price. So obviously they've got to, the shareholders went, nah, sorry, you got to give us a big discount for us to back you. So this is pretty much dead for the moment. But, saying that, all those negatives, if you look at the actual economics and the mine itself, it looks good on paper, but obviously something went wrong from the paper to production side. So let's see what happens, but I would certainly be getting out, and it would be interesting to see how they perform from here.
Did they say how much they have to raise, Wolfie? Okay.
Yeah, I think there was. Let me just double check. Hang on. G1A. They did say how much they're going to raise. 15 cents, and it was substantial. It was about 20 million. There you go.
Right, it's a lot of money, isn't it, for a business going to issues like that?
But just again, a reminder of how risky this space is. Doesn't matter how good they look. You can get that.
Okay, EGL. Maybe the best looking chart so far. If it looks like this by the end of the week, Wolf, maybe 25 cents. Here we come. So I don't think we'll be buying it today. But you know what? If it's looking like this tomorrow, Wolfie, I'll be very excited.
Yeah, look, let's hope it does. And what a nice reaction by the market to a capital raising, Dave, and an acquisition, right? Because normally you'd get pretty much a downside version of this. But this is opposite. This has actually gone up on the capital raising. So two things were obviously positive for them. Very small discount to the last share price, which was 20 cents. So, there's a lot of interest, which is nice. And obviously believe that this is on the way up. And second of all, obviously a good acquisition, because that's, if you're going to raise that $10 million, you want a good acquisition to go with it. Otherwise, no one's going to back you. So there you go. I mean, it looks good. Let's hope it sort of stays like that, and maybe we can make a few bucks out of this yet.
All right. On that note, listen, Wolfie, thank you very much. A brilliant assessment of today's news.
Dave, can I just say one more thing? Because I just read something in the morning, and I just want to mention to everyone. We know we had the quarterly starting up, and I know there's a lot of negativity around, right? We're thinking, the bears are going, we're going recession, we're going backwards. But, right, earnings in the US. Let me just read something out to you, because this is quite interesting. So, some interesting stats for the US reporting season. Of the 23 companies that reported since Tuesday close, EPS beat rate was 65%, right? So 65% of the companies beat their EPS rate. Backing up the financials, EPS beat rate was 100%. Right?
Very good.
So the bears, maybe I think are too bearish, and then maybe the reporting says will be better than expected. I mean, that's what you get out of that. So I'm still fairly glass half full guy when I read that.
And interest rates glass half empty, I should think, because it most probably more of a sign they're going to keep going up, Wolf.
Yeah, look, possibly, yeah, absolutely. But
the RBA, the RBA in our minutes were a little bit still negative. I think they want to keep people a little bit on their toes, don't they?
Yeah, and the other thing we can just quickly mention on and comment on is that today they released their recommendations because they were going through a commission saying we're going to need to revise how RBA does their job, and one of the recommendations was split it up into two. So we're going to have two committees, one for raising rates and one for basically looking at the whole bigger picture of things, whether they should be raising rates. So it's going to be like a tier step, which is quite nice. And maybe it's not going to be fall under one guy, like just the governor, RBA, the governor. It will be a much more considered decision going forward, which will be probably much better for us anyway. So interesting for going forwards.
But when do they hope to? When are they going to start bringing that down?
I don't know what the implementation is, but there was about 51 new recommendations to implement. So over the next probably couple of weeks, we're going to be finding out if they're going to be all accepted, whether they're all going to be implemented, and what the timeline will be like.
All right, interesting, because it was a terrible mistake the RBA made 2 years ago, telling.
Yeah, and that's why they had that's why they had that whole looking into the RBA, whether they can improve it, and they came up with 51 improvements. So there you go.
I think they needed one improvement, don't they? They just needed
exactly.
a new RBA governor, right? But anyway.
Well, I'm not. I think you're harsh. The problem is it just wasn't quite robust enough. Where too much emphasis was fallen to too small a pool of people, right? I think you need a much broader sense, coming from the people side like us, whether that makes sense, because they're just probably looking at one thing. That's all they call it. What about the other community that that's going to struggle with interest rates going up? That's not going to help anyone. So I think we've only got one scapegoat, and that's the governor, right? But a little bit unfair because unfortunately he'll probably make a mistake here and there, and that's what he's done. But if he's got more help,
Wolf, come on, Wolf, you're being too kind. If you've got a salary of a few million a year, right, you should get basic stuff right. I don't agree with that. I think he made a bad mistake, and I think
I'm not showing way
I Wolf, I think they should get rid of him, right? So because he put a lot of mums and dads in a very difficult situation, I tell you.
But look, it's obviously made a mistake, but he probably needs help. That's what I'm saying, and he will get that help now.
Well done. So someone tell him what to do. All right. On that note, thanks, Wolfie. Always good champion. See you, mate. Bye.
All right. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.